Alright, so Switch OLED. Let's just talk about it real quick. So the version that I had, or still have, the original Switch that I had, was actually a launch day Switch. This was a pre-order, came out 2017, everything was shiny new Switch. So I didn't have any kind of updated battery life. I didn't have any kind of performance. It wasn't the version that came out in 2019, which was meant to be a slight upgrade to the original Switch at that time. I had held out because I figured they'd be coming out with a new Switch. This little beauty, hi me, is the new OLED version. And you can just tell, like, the screen size itself is not that different, but when you compare it by bevel, it is ginormously different, right? So very different. I genuinely think that they didn't really do much with the size. They just decreased the bevel. And either way, I'm good with that. The Joy-Cons are a bit improved. I think it came out later that Nintendo compared Joy-Cons to a tire, that eventually, after you use them for so long, you're going to have to replace them or something. But they did update it. I don't think they were very forthcoming with how they updated it, but evidently they did update it. The thing that I think took me by surprise was honestly the kickstand. It's actually adjustable, like to a wide margin. And it's a pretty big upgrade over what we got here, which was that. So it's pretty different, honestly. It feels different. Everything else is pretty much what you would expect. Outside the obvious updates that we got, the bigger screen, the better kickstand, it more or less is the Switch that you know and love, just a little bit better, I guess. And OLED obviously doesn't help you very much when you're in docked mode. So if you're typically playing in dock mode, I don't know that you really need to upgrade to the OLED. Like I said, I did it because my OG Switch is it's having a moment. But the thing that bothers me a little bit, there's some rattle going on in there. I'm not really sure why, but the original dock does not wobble like that. So just, be aware that it does sit in there, but it's not like a sturdy fit that you might be used to. Aside from the Switch itself, we got the dock, right? Dock is pretty sweet. I heard a lot of people complaining that when they added the Ether port, there used to be, let's see if I can pop this off here. There used to be an additional USB down here, but now we have the Ether port, which, obviously is a nice thing to have, so you don't have to live in dongle land, right? But bros, there's 2 USB ports right there. They were saying, like, oh, you can't use a GameCube controller for Smash Ultimate anymore. Blah. Yeah, you can, dude. it's on the side, bro. So I don't know why anybody would complain about quality of life upgrades like this, but people just be mad, man. I really like the dock. I'm not a huge fan of how this has to, like, pop in, because I feel like I'm kind of breaking it. In fact, when I first tried to pop it off, it was a challenge. And I thought I was breaking it, but subsequent pulls have been a little bit easier, I guess. Yeah, it's I don't see the issue at all. 2 USB ports, Ethernet port, HDMI output, and then power source in. That's the dock. And the original Switch does work with this, and vice versa. The docks don't really matter. I guess it depends if you want to get a built-in Ether port and lose a USB port in the process. If that's important to you, then get this for sure. I have read somewhere that there's some kind of 4K upscaling ability that is involved with this dock. I do not know if that's true. I'm just throwing it out there. It was something that kind of passed by my fancy, and I didn't really care to look into it that much further. But that is maybe something that they did with this dock too, but I honestly don't know. But that is pretty much the Switch OLED. I am a huge fan of this thing. I love it so much. I have been waiting years to like replace my Switch. One of the things that happened, I don't know if you can see it. It's the tiniest of scratches. I was taking out my Switch one day, and a random cord hit it, and so it dinged a notch right there. So I've had just the tiniest little scratch on my screen, literally forever, and now I don't have to really worry about that. But streams will be easier, I guess, and having a built-in Ether port is really, really nice. Is it worth the price tag? Like I said, I would only really recommend upgrading to this if you have, a launch version of the Switch, or you have some kind of performance issues with your Switch and it's just gotten worn down over time. I think it's probably worth it. Between the upgraded dock and Joy-Cons, I think that's maybe a benefit, especially if you're a handheld player. That is why I would upgrade, because the screen is real nice. I'm going to be honest. If you don't care about that, and you're mostly a docked player, and your Switch is performing fine, and you don't have Joy-Con drift or whatever, which can be fixed. There is a handy little trick. Maybe I'll share that someday. I would probably not upgrade. Save the $350 and wait another couple years and see what they do. Nintendo's gone on record saying that they don't have any plans to release a future console at this time. Yada yada. We'll see. There's a lot of legal jargon that's involved with that, in terms of like misleading shareholders or hyping up stock and stuff like that. So obviously they don't want anything to leak ahead of time, because there's ramifications for that. But yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty solid setup. It's a lot of nice little improvements that we got. I'm not really like a high def guy anyway, so that's not really that important to me. So this for me was a good purchase. For you, it might not be, but I hope what I have talked about has helped you a little bit. But that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. And until then, I will catch you next time.